Welcome to another Story Saturday on 11/11. For this week's theme of letting go and moving on, I Googled the top movies with this message. After looking at a few lists, one title stood out: The Silver Linings Playbook, the 2012 rom dramedy starring Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, and featuring Robert De Niro. I didn't really know anything about it, other than that it had a score of 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I rented it as research. I love Bradley Cooper, so this was not much of a burden. The longer I watched it, the more things looked familiar, and I finished the movie with the feeling I'd seen parts before, or that it had played in the background once upon a time as I did other things. It's not like me to forget a movie, but I realized it's because the story didn't really speak to me like it did to the 92 percentile on Rotten Tomatoes. Even so, it had some helpful examples concerning the topic of letting go and moving on. After losing his wife and job and spending time in a mental institution, Pat, played by Bradley Cooper, goes to live with his parents. He is bipolar and obsessed with his estranged wife, Nikki. His father, meanwhile, is obsessed with the Philadelphia Eagles football team and is as superstitious about game day rituals as they come. A young, recently widowed woman named Tiffany, played by Jennifer Lawrence, offers to help Pat reconnect with his wife in exchange for a favor. Pat must agree to serve as Tiffany's dance partner in an upcoming dance competition. Tiffany has her own issues, which include handling the grief of losing her husband by being sexually promiscuous at work. The pair are volatile with each other, but forge ahead in pursuit of their individual goals. By the end of the movie, during the dance competition, everything comes to a head. Pat comes face to face with wife Nikki for the first time since being institutionalized, and she is impressed by the improvements he's made mentally, emotionally, and physically. Tiffany does not react well to seeing Pat with Nikki and washes down her sorrow at the bar. Much to her surprise, by the end of the story, Pat has let go of his fixation with Nikki and realizes what a wonderful gift he has in Tiffany, someone who gets him and in many ways brings out the best in him. He ultimately moves on from his past and Nikki to build a future with Tiffany, much to his parents' delight, as she turns out to be something of a lucky charm where the Philadelphia Eagles are concerned. Like Pat, we can choose to stop focusing on the past and instead enjoy the present moment, pay attention to the people right in front of us, and get support where we need it. Through the dance competition with Tiffany, Pat starts focusing on the present and building new relationships. He learns to manage his illness and finds support in unexpected places. Both Pat and Tiffany have experienced trauma. Sometimes they manage it pretty well. Other times, not so much. Coming together to work on a goal, doing something productive that requires concentration and practice, the dance competition, helps them battle and conquer some of their inner demons. They learn healthy coping mechanisms that result in their building self-confidence. The film's ending isn't rainbows and roses, but it does show a realistic view of how love can grow as we grow, and that happiness can come from unexpected places and new beginnings. One of the most laudable aspects of the film is that it doesn't shy away from the difficulty of letting go, but it ultimately shows that holding on to the past can hinder healing and growth. By focusing on the present, allowing themselves to be accountable to each other, and supporting one another's goals, Pat and Tiffany take their first steps toward dancing their way into a brighter future. Your tiny task today is to look at your life and identify a not-so-conventional source of support that you tend to take for granted, and then take the time to let them know how much you appreciate them. And if you're struggling with anything of your own, join us starting next week, May 1st, every Wednesday, for Pearls of Etherean Wisdom. It's a 33-minute online group conversation, audio only, not recorded, held via Google Meet, where you're invited to bring your struggles and leave with uplifted clarity. We'll be syncing our topics with the topics of the podcast. So our first week on May 1st will be about getting out of our comfort zone and trying new things. Looking forward to hanging out with you on Wednesdays at 8:11 Pacific, 10:11 Central, and 11:11 Eastern. Chedi stay some, everyone. Tuta.